Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and thank you for joining in for another video here at Seb's Garage. Today we are doing an overview and install video on the GD3 shifter plate. It is clear, so it might be a little difficult to see, but I am holding a clear piece of acrylic. Let me show you how this works. When you order one of these on the website, you will get a little package that looks like this, and inside you will see a little baggie with the brackets and then the actual overlay itself. If it is acrylic, the etching is on the back side, so that the front is smooth, and it keeps any kind of debris from going into it and getting dirty as easily. If it's not see-through, if it's black, white, blue, and I forget what the other color is that isn't see-through, I will tell you in a little bit. The available finishes are mirrored, blue, white, black, red, this one's see-through, and all the ones after this one will be, yellow, green, dark smoke, light smoke, and clear. These do also come in two different styles. You have got the OE shifter. This will work with factory, the budget short throw, which I'll link a video somewhere up on top. It'll work with Mugen and Buddy Club, anything that uses OEM style base. And then you've got the hybrid shifter option, which is a oval, and that is to allow for the larger shifting mechanism. You'll also see the etching there. I'm also offering custom engraving on these. So if you have anything that you want on these, shoot me a message at sebs.garage.service@gmail.com. I'll put it right here. And you know, we can talk about what you want on it and how we can make it happen. I can also offer a lot more colors than these. This is just what I have readily available. So if you're looking to really dial in your interior, you want something custom, hit me up, talk to me about what you want, and let's make it happen. Those are etched on the front side because otherwise you can't see them, but that does mean that you can flip them over because they're symmetrical, and you can either run a logo out or logo in so that you just see blank. So you know, there's ups and downs to both of them. With the brackets, they come in a little baggie, and they are specific to each location, which we will cover during the install. The one with a little slit in it is towards the bottom. The one with the two holes is for the left side, and then the one that has a single hole without the slot is for the right side. So let's go put it in. I figure since it's a beautiful day out, we'll do this outside instead of underneath the lift where it's kind of dark. I've still got my daily driver here with a blown up transmission. I've got everything in to take care of that. I just have not found the time yet. But do you remember in grade school when the teacher was like, we're doing school outdoors today? That's what we're doing, like the good old days. Whether your shifter looks like mine and there's just a big gap that you're trying to keep stuff from falling into, or you've got the ugly OEM rubber accordion boot, doing this pretty easy. All you're really going to need is a Phillips screwdriver and some sort of trim removal tool. There are two clips in the front of the console. They are closer to the pedal on the side here, and another one on the other side there. What you will do is grab your trim removal tool, push in the center of that clip, and then use the claw to remove them. And then at the back here, I do have the JDM center console, so yours might look a little different, but they all mount the same. Just about where the rear seat, or the rear of the front seat meets the center console, there's a screw here, and there's another one right in the back right there. You can see the screw right there. I've already taken this one off. but it is the bottom most right there. If you have the OEM setup, there's only one, because I've got the cup holders integrated in the rear, which is a cool little feature of the JDM center section. Mine's got a couple more screws, but those come off and the whole thing frees up. You will have two electrical connections. If you have a sport model, at least, you'll have the lighter and the aux port. If you have a base model, then you don't have to worry about the aux port. And then you also have here in the center, underneath the parking brake, this little cover. It's got two clips here and one at the bottom. Be careful when removing this. I've seen a lot of people, and I've actually broken one myself, but they break pretty easily just because this bottom one is pretty stiff and kind of difficult. So what I do is pop the first two, bend it a little bit, get a finger up underneath, comes right out. Once you have done all that and your electrical, this should come loose and you'll be able to shift it around. It is a little difficult to get the front tabs because this plastic flares out to where it mounts up underneath. It's a little difficult to get all of that out. What I like to do is lift the rear up high and then kind of snake it out this way. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and show you the underside where we will be working. This is the underside of the console. There are 3 screw holes. There's one at the back and 2 in the front, closer to the sides. If you still got your OEM shift boot, this is where you would undo those 3 and pop it right out. If yours is removed like mine, this is where we start installing stuff. So we're gonna grab the shift plate, make sure that the logo is facing towards the bottom, and you want the hole to be closer to the cup holders, which would be towards the engine, the front of the car. And this does sit in the 4 little tabs here, and it's a very tight fit so that there's a nice tight gap on everything. So if it doesn't fit right away, try just pushing down on it, massaging it a little bit. It will fit. Once you've got it in there and it's locked in place, it shouldn't really wiggle or move like this. You see I can push it down, but it doesn't move side to side, like it won't rotate. Then we can get onto installing the bracketry. The brackets are specific in the way that they fit, which is what I was talking about earlier. There is one bolt hole here. When you're working underneath, it's going to be the one to the right. If your cup holders are closer to your body, and when it sits in the car, since this flips, it's also on the right. That's the one with the 2 holes, since it's got a locating pin. Then there's the one with the slot on it. That one is the one that goes towards the rear, so the one that's closest to the handbrake. And then there's the one that's just a single hole with the lip. That one would go on the left, driver's side for US market cars. And I like to start with the one for the rear. You want to make sure that it's centered. If you'll see there how it locks in place with that bracket there, and then we can just kind of spin it on by hand. The order of operations here is not super important. What is that you get them all to lock in. They have this tiny little lip here, and that's where the shift plate needs to sit. And you also want to make sure that you're squeezing it all down evenly and not making it cockeyed where it's not gonna, you know, like sit in the grooves like it's supposed to. Now that I've got all 3 brackets installed and finger tight, we'll go ahead and just start a little bit on each one at a time. Trying to do this blind, so excuse my aim. Come on, get in there. I'm trying to see how I'm doing this through the camera, and it's not the most exact thing in the world. And then you don't need to like crank on this. It is plastic on plastic, so you can strip, you know, or break these things. You see how I'm just putting pressure on it by hand. I'm not using my body strength and like going crazy with it. And once you have it there, you want to make sure again that it's in all 4 corners like it should be, and that it's got a nice gap all the way around. So we're going to flip this over and make sure that it's sitting properly. With the console flipped over, you'll see that there's a nice even gap all the way throughout. What you want to do if yours is not sitting evenly is you can grab the shift plate right here like this. Use 2 fingers, put your thumb here, and just pull up on it slightly. Again, don't force it because you can break this. And just make sure that it's sitting the way it's supposed to, and then turn it back around. Make sure the screws are all tight, and you should be set. So let's go ahead and put this back in the car. I've got the center console loosely back in place. It still has a ton of movement. And what's cool with this too is you don't have to take your shifter apart to put this back in the car. I haven't even taken off my shift knob to put this back in the car. For the hybrid version, it just drops right in. With the OEM version, especially if you're still running the OEM boot, you will have to take your shift knob out. But you don't have to do anything more than that. Just shift knob out, in, you're done. With this, since the hole is so big, you can actually keep it all together and you don't have to mess with any of your adjustments, which is, you know, pretty cool. Now, the reason this hole is so big is because of the little dog bone right here. You'll see how this is not forward enough. So what you want to do before you bolt anything in place is you want to move the console as far forward as it'll go. You want to make sure that you have a good amount of clearance here, like that. And you saw how it shifted back a little bit. You want to not have it bolted in yet and just go 3rd to 4th and make sure you have clearance on both the front and the back. There is room to have about 1 millimeter, maybe 2 of clearance on either end. Once you've got it centered where you want, then we can go ahead and pop the clips and screws in place. And just like that, console's nice and sturdy. Shifter's not hitting anything. And you've got this nice shifter plate keeping stuff out of your center console, matching your interior color, and with a cool logo on it. So yeah, good to go. Now, if your interior is a little dusty like mine and you got to clean this thing, the best way to do it is to use a microfiber. This stuff will get little tiny scratches on it, so use a microfiber and some sort of either, you know, like Windex or soapy water or anything like that to clean it up if you need to. But make sure you use something soft because you can scratch the surface on these and you start seeing all these tiny little micro scratches. I don't think you'll see too much in an interior just because it's generally kind of dark in them. But to keep it nicer, you know, don't sit here and scruff it up with a bunch of stuff just because you will see it on these. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want a custom one, again, hit me up. I'm happy to work with you. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.